military aircraft of the Indian Air Force crashed while attempting to land at the Rowriah Air Force Station in Assam's Jorhat. The IAF has confirmed that the aircraft involved was an Antonov AN-32 cargo plane widely used for transporting supplies and personnel. 5 Indian Air Force personnel have lost their lives in the air crash. The co-pilot has fortunately survived and is being provided treatment. Sqn Ldr Prashant Singh, Flight Lieutenant Shubham Kumar, Sgt Jitendra Sharma, Agniveervayu, Khemaram, Kumawat and Agniveervayu Danish made the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty. Now, in the aftermath, a court of inquiry has been ordered by the Indian Air Force to ascertain the cause of the crash. The accident, viewers, took place during the landing phase at the airbase. Visuals from the area showed thick smoke rising from the crash site as rescue teams rushed to the scene and launched emergency operations. Rowriah Air Force Station is among the Indian Air Force's key installations in Northeast and plays a very crucial role in supporting air operations across Assam and the wider region. And the crash has raised concerns about the safety of military aviation operations, although authorities have cautioned against any speculation until a formal inquiry is completed. Emergency response teams remain deployed at the site while senior Air Force officials are closely monitoring the situation. The Indian Air Force operates around 100 Antonov AN-32 tactical transport aircraft. Originally, the IAF inducted 125 of these Soviet origin aircraft into its fleet. The AN-32 has been in service with the IAF since 1980, and that's why it's very important. It serves as the backbone of the Air Force's medium lift transport operations, and the aircraft is known for its ability to operate effectively in hot weather conditions and at high altitude airfields. Its performance in challenging terrains, including the Himalayan region, has made it a vital logistical asset for the Indian Air Force. Now, after the crash, Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh expressed his condolences to the families of the martyrs. In a post on X, he wrote, and I quote, "Deeply anguished by the loss of 5 air warriors in the AN-32 accident at Jorhat, Assam. My heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. The nation stands firmly with them in this hour of grief." To help us understand what really happened, we have Air Commodore Dr. Ashminder Singh Bahal, Defence and Strategy Expert, joining us live, along with Air Commodore and Director General Aviation Retired Safety India, B.S. Sivach, and Group Captain D.K. Pandey, Senior Fellow, Centre for Aerospace, Power and Strategic Studies. A very good afternoon, gentlemen. Uh, Air Commodore Bahal, how do you look at this crash? It's a Soviet-era flight that was carrying our air warriors, and it was during the landing that this crash happened. What could have went wrong?
Thank you and Jai Hind to both you as well as my esteemed co-panelists who have also a huge amount of experience in this area. Let me tell you at this time that anything to speculate would not be correct, primarily because the complete knowledge about the incident is not there. And we are going to have a specialist court of inquiry team, which will have a presiding officer from the similar background. It will have technical officers, it will have medical officers, it will have a wide variety of officers, including maybe from HAL and other agencies as required. So they will be telling. But 2-3 things are very apparent in this. You can see the aircraft is not on the runway. So it has gone off the runway onto the kacha, as we say in our Indian Air Force language. And secondly, it has toppled. And thirdly, it is split into 2 pieces. Fourthly, you can see on the background right now, if you can see low clouds, which means monsoon has already come over there. Fifthly, that you see probably it had ruptured a fuel pipeline, and because of which a fuel initially there was a fire which was controlled very well by the crash and fighting rescue operators based at Jorhat Air Force in a very short period of time. I want to highlight a few things. This aircraft is a lifeline in the Northeast as well as in Ladakh area. It has got short landing and takeoff capabilities. It has hot and high altitude ability to fly. It can go on to advanced landing grounds where it does not require, and a semi-prepared strips where it does not require so much of landing or takeoff role. In addition, and a very important thing is, it can do a wide variety of roles and missions in these key areas to support our army as well as other force elements, such as medical rescue, cash evacuation, troop drops, air transportation. It is used in a variety of missions. That's a medium a tactical transport aircraft with the ability to carry about 5 to 6 tons of load. Last thing that I want to say in this is that though there are fingers pointed on the IAF a lot of times, but let me tell you, the Indian Air Force safety record has improved to 0.22 per 10,000 accidents, which is very close to what the most advanced air forces in the world have. So our safety is improving. And remember, we are flying with aging fleets. 40% of our aircraft in the Indian Air Force, including the AN-32, which first came in 1984, and virtually the entire lot of 125 aircraft were either 32 or 42 years old in between this, and only 105 were left. 60 have been midlife upgrade has taken place for 60 aircraft, which implies that the Indian Air Force checks the aircraft thoroughly before it sends. But at the same time, because the aging fleet is there, it requires more maintenance support, it requires greater spares. So anything could be a possibility in this case, and it would be difficult, and it would not be right on my part to say about this. It could be weather, it could be technical issues, it could be aircraft, maybe because of wet runway going off the runway because the monsoon is there. It could be anything. So right now it will be not correct on my part to speculate.
Right, Air Commodore Sivaj, this is the second AN-32 that we've seen going down in the recent past. But from an aviation safety perspective, what are the, first technical parameters that investigators will look at after a crash during, such incidents which happened during landing? What are the first technical parameters?
Deepak, it is a very, very shocking, very painful accident in which we have lost 5 air warriors. My heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. And we pray to God for the speedy recovery of the co-pilot who is being treated in the hospital. You see, AN-32, they're inducted as brought out by Air Commodore Bahal in 1984. This is one of the most capable, reliable, safe, and can carry out number of missions, very versatile aircraft. It can land on unprepared surfaces, very marginal, restricted runways, and it has done a human service to the country, to the Air Force, during the last almost 42 years. Yes, there have been accidents, but it has also flown millions of hours in such challenging terrain, such demanding conditions, such formidable operations, and has proved its worth. And in fact, it's the backbone of the transport fleet of the Indian Air Force. And for so many years, it has stayed so. There have been, some instances, but it's not mainly hardly any, technical issues have occurred on this aircraft due to which the accident was caused. Now, the investigative agency, as you asked me, are obviously going to see all the technical detail, operational detail, weather conditions, pilots' fitness, their qualifications, what actually went wrong, why did it happen, what were the contributing factors, what were the other, main cause of the accident. Let me tell you that Indian Air Force has got very, very competent, capable, professional investigators. And it will not take them long to reach out to the root cause. What actually was responsible causing this accident, and what were the contributing factors, and any other factors which led to this accident. So very unfortunate accident, but it has served the Air Force very well. It's very reliable, very safe. And in Indian Air Force maintenance standards are very, very high. An aircraft which is not airworthy, that is not serviceable, not fit for flying, it will never be launched. Unless it is an extreme emergency condition, then maybe slight compromise maybe. But during peacetime operation, there is no question of launching an aircraft which is not suitable in all respects. Of course, the pilots of the squadron leader was in command. So they are very experienced pilots. They have been flying this aircraft for many years. So
They have hundreds
in the
of
pilot
flying hours and
competency, we have very high standards, very well qualified, competent pilots who are flying this aircraft. So we cannot, now accidents do take place. There may be so many reasons. With the court of inquiry, you will be able to establish, because now we will be just speculating what went wrong and all that. So we'll not even talk about the probable causes. But let's wait for the inquiry,
right.
and then we'll get to know what actually went wrong. Deepak.
Right. Right. Captain Pandey, you know, I want to ask you this question about the Northeast compared to other sectors of the country, because why I ask you this is because the last time an AN-32 crashed, it was exactly, you know, in this particular region. It took off from Jorhat towards Arunachal Pradesh. 33 minutes after takeoff, it went missing, and it was found, you know, in a mountainous terrain. So how challenging are transport missions in the Northeast compared to the other parts of the country?
Jahid, and thanks for having me the show.
Yes.
The basic aspect of Northeast terrain is the terrain itself, number one. Number two is weather, the varying nature of the weather in this period. Rather, out of 12 months, 10 months, we have rain and heavy rain conditions and a cloud moving here and there. Those things are quite common, but you are trained for that. That is the type of environment which you are operating day and night. Secondly, nobody is getting airborne to have a abort mission or having a eventuality of such nature which is going to cause life or aircraft. So the people are mentally, physically trained for any kind of eventuality which may occur on ground as well as in air. Now, talking about Northeast, definitely what you were hinting is the 2019 Machuka airfield, when AN-32 was going from Jorhat to Machuka, and Su-30, Su-30s were launched, Mi-17s were launched, even Globemaster was launched to find out, but after 8 days, I believe, wreckage was found. So, definitely dense environment is there, dense tree line, all those forestry is there. But again, you have to have such eventualities to learn from each and every eventuality. Now, problem is, what about this aircraft which has happened today? They got airborne about 9:22. It took off, then it started going away, and it was going. They were going Jorhat to Chabua. It was further east. So after something happened, and they have turned back to land. And while landing, after touchdown, this aircraft has come in between, and then it has gone off the track, and it has toppled, and it has broken the way the structure is being shown here. And you see the tail part is intact. That is a positive part. Why I'm saying that way? Because your recorder, your black box, what you say, that audio and video recording, but you carried out the cockpit recording as well as the RT, what you are doing. All these things are there. They have to be intact, hopefully. And these two elements are very, very important. Reason is that lessons which you can learn from the incident, so that you are not repeating and you are not going to such situation in future. The most important part, what you were asking about what court of inquiry is going to do. The first thing is whether the old aircraft, 3 decades, 4 decades old, all these are secondary. Important is whenever any aircraft in Air Force, irrespective of the transport fleet or helicopter or fighter, before they get airborne, the technical fitness is checked thoroughly. Once it is cleared, then only it is allowed to get airborne. So mission is undertaken only after thorough checkup of the aircraft as well as the pilot also, which Sebastian has just mentioned also, that medically a pilot has to be fit so that he can undertake such missions, because split second decisions at times you are supposed to take. So things are nurtured in such a way that you can take these things in a normal routine way and you don't feel that stress because you are already used to this. Now, the third point is, the people are saying that this is the old aircraft, and why we have allowed this aircraft to go, because normally aircraft life is about 30-35 years, and it is going further beyond 30, and it is touching about 40 plus. So, but extension was given to this aircraft for 10 years more. So aircraft is going to fly for another 5 to 10 years, and every year you carry out the thorough checks. So you're not leaving aircraft as well as your pilot, because you can get the aircraft, but a trained, experienced pilot creating and getting back in the operations is impossible. So we appreciate the value of the resources as well as the assets which are there, because we are a developing country, we are putting so many things, so much fund is going in R&D, so we cannot afford to waste single money. Now the third aspect is that
Okay.
when such aircraft is getting airborne,
Mhm.
the necessary precautions which one is supposed to take on the ground, they do take. They ensure that weather is okay. Basically, if you see the nature of accidents, you can classify in two parts. One is human-related issues, other is non-human. Non-human is basically we're talking about weather, which you mentioned about Northeast as having a very, very varying nature of dynamic weather in the terrain. Second is that spatial disorientation, when you are moving daily, but sometimes you misjudge something and then you get stuck. Like once it has happened that aircraft was about to land and they hit the hill nearby. So these things are possible. Now the human errors include two aspects. One is the technical error. It may be a technical flaw which could not be properly appreciated on time, and the remedial measures could not be initiated. This is one. Second is your aspect which you are supposed to initiate when aircraft is getting old. So these are two factors. Otherwise, speculation, as rightly everybody is saying,
That's right,
that the
and all eyes
speculation
are,
will
sir,
not be
on
correct.
the inquiry panel, because the panel will now probe what exactly led to the cause. Black box will be a very, very crucial piece in the puzzle. Commodore Bahel, you know, the AN-32 has a very strong reputation for operating in difficult terrain and high altitude conditions, but does this accident raise broader questions about fleet aging and modernization? And if you agree with that, how does the Airbus C295 fare as a possible replacement?
That's a very nice question. If everything was fine, then this accident wouldn't have taken place. So I'm not very convinced with the replies given by my two co-panelists. Primarily because we are not looking at how to improve the system. We are looking at saying everything is great, everything is fine. If everything was fine, then why has accident taken place? Now we come to the second, and that the court inquiry is going to tell us. Now, the second and very important factor is that the 40% of the Air Force fleet is aging. There is no doubt. When an aircraft crosses 40 years or 35 years, be rest assured, it's like diesel car with 15 years. You want to take them off from the Delhi roads, but later on, because of public pressure, you went back. Now, the point I'm making is that as the aircraft grows older, it requires more maintenance, it requires better space. Since 2022, Feb 2022, Russia-Ukraine war, there have been problems in the supply chain for AN-32 spares. And when we are looking at that, HAL has come out with a lot of new parts which they could have got done indigenously from Indian companies. But there are certain line replacement units which cannot be made, the critical line replacement units which cannot be made by the HAL or by any private company as of this moment. So what we are doing, we are cannibalizing. Cannibalizing means from the aircraft that are not flying, we remove the serviceable components, check them up. I agree that we carry out 100% checks, but what happens is when the aircraft is aging or a system is aging, its tendency to fail increases. I am not saying that it is a reason because of this crash, but because you are telling me how to make the environment safe. Remember, safety is a condition of being protected from danger, risk, or injury. Tomorrow I am taking lecture from 9:30 to 12:30, 3 hours on safety management systems, risk management systems, and threat error management for the captains, for chief flying instructors, for flying instructors, for people even who have 40 years of flying experience. So it's a 3 hour lecture tomorrow being taken under the DGCA, mandate. So what I'm trying to tell you is that when we are having an aging fleet, modernization is necessary. The Air Force is moving towards C295. 56 we are supposed to get. 16 have come in flyaway condition. 40 are going to be manufactured in India near Baroda. One is going to come up very soon in August. And the next issue is the pilot to aircraft cockpit ratio, which in India is the lowest amongst a lot of countries, including Pakistan and America. We have 1.25:1. And that is primarily because we have a lack of basic trainers. We need 181 basic trainers. Currently, we have only 75 Pilatus aircraft. So what we need is immediately getting a basic trainer. The problem that occurred was HPT 32 aircraft had a lot of crashes. So we phased that out. We stopped flying it. And the HTT-40, which was supposed to come, the engines got delayed. And therefore, this whole delay has taken place. And we have right now lower number of basic trainers.
So basically, Commodore Behel, India is stuck between a rock and a hard place, at crossroads with modernization and also expanding, the fleet and crew members that are required for our Air Force, to reach greater heights. But we've unfortunately run out of time. Commodore Behel, Commodore Sivach and Group Captain Pandey, thank you for joining me on this very important discussion.